What are you going to do with these straws then, Steve?
Well, going to start with something really, really easy. Your typical drinking straw. And of course, they come in all sorts of different sizes and made of different materials. So these plastic ones are actually very stiff. So I'm just sort of softening it up a little bit at the end before I'm going to cut it.
What would be a better straw to use then, Steve?
Well, actually, either just slightly softer plastic ones or even paper ones would do the trick. In fact, these are the hardest straws I've ever come across. So thank you very much, Trevor, for getting them.
So I brought a pile of rubbish straws, have I?
You did. OK, but I'm sure we can still make them work. All I'm going to do, Trevor, is I'm going to flatten out the end and I'm going to cut two very sharp diagonal lines down there so that what we eventually do is make two pointed ends at the end, if you can see that there. Now that's a little bit like the quill at the end of old-fashioned ink pens. Now what I'm going to do now is try and blow down it, and if it's right, what will happen is the wind will make the two ends here, like the reeds, rattle together, and we should get a good sound. Here we go. How's that?
That's pretty impressive, actually. It sounds a bit like a bassoon, doesn't it?
Now, what we can do now is we can use the same thing to show how important the length of the straw is to the note that comes out. At the moment, we're getting this note. Remember this note. Now I'm going to take some of the end off the straw. There. Can you hear the difference?
Pitch has gone up, hasn't it?
The pitch has gone up. So I'm going to make it shorter, and you should hear another difference. And now, one more time.
Pretty impressive, Steve. I'm pretty impressed by that.
Very simple way of demonstrating how sound is made in an instrument.
And can you do that with a vegetable as well?
I think I should be able to get a really nice tube from the layers of these leaves to do the same thing. So let's see if I can. I'm just going to take some of this off here now.
So apart from the spring onions, what else do you need to make this, Steve?
Well, you need a nice sharp knife and perhaps a little bit of patience, because they don't always pull away just how you want to. So let's see if I'm going to take a little bit more off there, and I'm just going to tease that off there. There we go. And tease this next layer off, and then hopefully I should get a really good tube underneath here.
So the layers of the spring onion are actually in tubes then, which means you can make like a straw out of them.
That's right. So that's what we're looking for really, is a straw shape, but now made out of spring onion. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can push through or pull through. No, it's not going that way. See if I can push through this way. Let's see if I can just cut.
So you're making a little point out of this by cutting and...
That's right, just the same as the straw. I'm making a point here, but that's too stiff. There's one thing getting a really good tube, which is quite a job anyway, to get a nice piece of tube coming from the spring onion. And then, of course, is finding the right sort of consistency, as we did with the drinking straw before. I've got a few here. Let's have a go. I'll try cutting this one. That's not going to work. Let's try something else here. Let's try this one here. Do you hear that, Trevor? It's really low frequency, but it's actually working quite nicely.
So you've got to get it, but you've got to blow it at the frequency it wants to go at. So if you're blowing a bit hard, that's not going to work.
That's right.
So it's a soft blowing because it's quite a low frequency, means it works. But the straw you had to blow harder because it was a higher frequency, I guess.
Yep, this one worked, blowing it very, very gently. And actually, you can see there's hardly any reed there at all. There's just a slight peak, and the combination makes quite a nice sound. Let's have see if I can do it again.